Hello? 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 So easily. And it really came as no surprise. You look beyond comparing every time that I came making move, I froze. I always do that, I know it.
Oh no!
If I could only be some kind of
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
if I could have my way with words. Phone for a
Back!
day.
Hold my back!
Tell you what I feel so you know it. 'Cause I would know just what to say. If only I was some kind of poet.
Hey guys, it's MRSSTIX back at it again with yet another new MMORPG that just dropped onto Steam January 26th. I'm the half of the channel that generally takes deeper looks into newer games, whether they're good, bad, or just plain ugly, because my struggles are here for your amusement, and to also hopefully aid you in making a more informed decision with your hard-earned money. Today we'll be taking a look at Tado, or more fully known as the Adventures Domain Online, which has a price tag of $15.99. This is an indie MMO both developed and self-published by Unbalanced Equations and is currently in an early access state. They tout themselves as being a buy-to-play open-world MMORPG with classic vibes and more modern third-person action combat, which is something I'll discuss more in detail here shortly. Currently, as of editing this video, I have clocked in around 22 hours of gameplay within Tado and will probably breach even more for the purpose of footage because I unknowingly cucked myself early on by recording 6 hours of blurry, low bitrate footage that is now just completely useless. If my opinion changes on anything as I continue, you'll find my thoughts down in the comments below. The world itself is large and open, save for instance dungeons, some instant quest areas, and load screens between different parts of the sea. Otherwise, you can go anywhere you want that isn't just, too steep, gated behind coming soon locks, and you can even go underwater. That's more than New World offered. Granted, there's nothing there right now, but you can. The world is vibrant in some areas while still a little blank and under the works in other areas. You will also need to navigate the world without a map, so pay attention to where the quests instruct you to go. Or don't, because I did run into a quest that told me to go to the main city and speak to the harbor master, and it turns out the harbor master was literally half a landmass away. This, so far, is the only quest that has led me the wrong way. There is an active weather system, day and night cycle, and various lighting to make you feel like you're in a dynamic world. As I mentioned, there is naval content present, which features a vast ocean to explore that you can set sail on via boat that you'll get through the story. Eventually, you'll gain the option of upgrading your trusty naval steed with gold earned in-game to a ship that even the most elite of fleets would envy. In the 22 hours I've played, I honestly didn't come to a point where I thought, I have nothing to do. The world does have a story to follow, multiple dungeons you can just wander into alone or with a group, mobs to kill in the open world, and lots to explore just because you want to. The partying system was a little convoluted, as you do start out the game in a tutorial that teaches you how to do the basic WSAD movements, instruction on tab targeting enemies, how to pick up things, and jump, but it doesn't really hold your hand beyond that. I had to ask World Chat how to even join a party, since when I clicked another player, it would mention I didn't have a party. I don't know. Either way, I found out by the help of the community that you needed to hit P and set up a party before I could begin inviting people. Also, for those of you paying attention, gold star first off, I did mention that the tutorial itself teaches you how to utilize the tab target combat. If you recall, the game mentions they use a third-person action combat system, which I think at its core is fairly accurate, but not fully. If anything, I would say the combat is hybrid. Nearly every skill can be used without a target, and you can aim freely. However, there is also the ability to tab target between various enemies to assist you, especially if you're using a ranged weapon. Of course, you don't have to be a ranged player, you can be pretty much anything you like. There are no classes within this game, only skill points and various ways to mix and match whatever you like. You'll be able to swap at a drop of a hat between two different weapon sets, even when mid-battle. On one hand, I have two maces to melee things to death. I mean, well, I guess not on one hand. I mean, you know, two hands. I'm two-handing things with two maces and meleeing them to death. But anyway, you know what I mean. And on the other one, I have like a spell book that I can zip zap zoop enemies from afar. I was able to try out nearly every weapon type, which comes with its own base skill. There are swords, great swords, spell books, maces, bows, crossbows, axes, spears, staves, shields, and probably a few more I haven't come across yet. To become more proficient at the weapon and utilize higher tiers of that weapon type, simply put points into the weapon of your choice and be careful right now with how you spend your skill points, as there is, at present, no way to reset them. Each time I found a statue though, it allowed me to reallocate 1 point, which really didn't do very much, but you could. You'll also want a variety of options, as I think from what I can tell, some enemies were more susceptible to my magic attacks, while others were tickled by them and I had to melee them down. You can also wear whatever gear you like, as you'll have choices of light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. You'll also need to put points into the system, as you won't be able to wear the gear you don't have points into, and the better the gear, the more points are required to wear it. Every person has access to spells, and you'll need to put points into them if you'd like to use them. There are occultism spells, druid spells, healing spells, and much more. To accumulate the points, you'll need to level, and with each level, you'll get 3 points to put into whatever you like. Before I continue on though, I need to touch upon this whole leveling thing. Have you ever just been playing a game and were so proud of increasing from level 1 to level 2 that you wanted the whole world to know? Did you not want the ground to literally shake, tremble before your greatness? Well, if that's what you're looking for, this game has that. Every time you level, or anyone nearest you, the world will shaketh with the leveler's mighty power, a bright light of the gods will shine down, and the angels will sing. When I first joined the game and was in what I'll refer to as tutorial catacombs, every few seconds the world would shake with people leveling. I would show it to you, but it's so blurry, I don't think I would be doing the game any favors. So, if you love experiencing earthquakes, I think you're going to like the leveling process, to say the least. While leveling, you'll find a variety of things to do, such as questing, hunting, mining, fishing, crafting, and skinning. The crafting system is super important in this game. To have better weapons, gear, potions, and more, it's integral to level your crafting. Granted, you could just pay someone some in-game gold to give you the better items, but why be lazy when you could craft? The more you craft, the better items you craft will become, so make sure you stick to it. You'll also need to craft often, as there is currently no repair system in place at this time. So more often than not, I'd find out my weapon was broken and I need to go back to town to make a new one, after collecting the necessary items to do so, again because the devs implemented a functional weight system, limiting how much you are capable of holding at a given time. Thankfully, there are backpacks that assist you with your weight, but I enjoy the bonus from wearing a cloak more than I did holding skins, because the backpack and cloak were sharing the same slot, so I had to pick. I also had to fight people for mobs, as the number of players all competing for farming spots was pretty high. And once they tagged the monster, I was unable to attain the items even if I helped. Granted, we could party, but it was hard to get people to party. One time I did manage to get a level 68 dude to literally carry me like Yoda on Luke's back. I got so many levels and so many items, I will be forever in his debt. I think his name was Maple. Maple, if I have your name right, you're a true homie. Even if we never spoke a word to one another, I'm pretty sure you taught me how to cheat fast travel by accident because I saw you unstuck yourself, die, and spawn back at the front of the dungeon. Thank you. Truthfully, the community in the chat were somewhat helpful, but mainly stuck to themselves. Sometimes I'd ask questions and get no replies, including via their official Discord. If you do play the game, I'd recommend joining the Discord, as you'll find a plethora of information there, including bugs. Their mods and developers appear to be very active, so this is a good sign. Eventually, they will implement a guild system within the game, but currently there is none. The reason I like to touch upon the community in these videos is because I know more than anyone that the community within an MMORPG can make or break it for a lot of people. And I think it is the core of any MMORPG. I also can't help but compare this to Embers Adrift, another indie classic-inspired MMORPG that recently launched, but is subscription-based and of a different graphic style. The community within that game provided arguably some of the most heartwarming experiences I have ever had in an MMO, as they travel across the vast, mapless world to come assist you and party as often as they could, simply because it was necessary. Not to say it is not within this game, but honestly, you could play it by yourself. I didn't really need people. I was fine. Within this MMORPG, all I have to say is I just see a few of these conversations and feel like I'm in any other typical MMO. So basically home, you know, where no one really talks to one another and no one tries to party with you. You know, perfect isolation. And that's okay. I really found very little reason to party with people unless I wandered into an area I wasn't geared or leveled for. This of course may change over time, as again the game is in early access. With it being an early access game, which they plan to be for roughly a year, there are a lot of opportunities for change, or there could be very little. But their plans do seem to be there. There's even a roadmap that they have displayed on Steam. It really doesn't tell me very much, but there is a roadmap, and there it is, so you can see it. If I had to summarize this game right now based purely off of what is in front of me, the game is a mess. It is buggy, it is glitchy, you get DC'd often when going into instance areas, it has a horribly large, almost mobile-looking UI, you'll get errors when trying to log in, sailing is very buggy, quests are buggy and I can't finish some of them, there's invisible immortal crab enemies that'll chase me so far and kill me, the voice acting sounds like it was done through an AI program for most of them, areas aren't finished and can be very empty, but there was somehow a certain level of charm to this game. I did, however, get frustrated at various points in this game, such as when I spent 15 minutes sailing out to another island and found no spawn point there, ended up dying and got spawned up at the original spawn point on the mainland. I had to resail the 15 minutes at least 3 times, which in retrospect is probably how I got the 22 hours of gameplay time now that I think of it. Okay, well this makes sense. Also, it is worth noting that the game appears to be using assets, and I know someone in the comments is going to say it, so I'm just going to say it here. Yes, I see it too, okay? It's there. Yet, even if they are, I personally believe that is what assets are for. This is for anyone, anywhere to make a functional game. What they ultimately make of the game with those assets is what truly matters. It has a story, it has an adventure with hours and hours of gameplay, there's different enemy types to keep it fresh, and generally does feel like an actual game that someone put thought into. Also, I'm pretty sure someone could make a game of literally watching paint dry, and there would be folks that would love it. There are going to be people that will love this game, and I'm happy I'm bringing this to your attention. And there are going to be people that will hate this game, and I'm glad I'm bringing it to your attention so you can decide not to get it. But I will not sugarcoat this. It is not a fully fleshed out thought at this point in time. It's intriguing enough to where I keep an eye on it, especially if you love old school MMOs, new adventures, and hours of things to do. I've had a few laughs, a few frustrations, and generally walked away from playing feeling entertained. Anyway, tell me in the comments below what you guys think of this game. This was MRSSSTIX logging off now. Bye!